It has been satisfying, and at the same time, it has been depressing. Practicing in Nigeria in this field, we are able to save babies, we are able to save their mother, but it has been depressing that some have refused to be saved. Some people genuinely are ready to be helped, but they've not had access to the right source of information. But some other factors which have discovered that religion is be stronger than education at times. We do everything within our power to prevent women from dying. And one way not to die is to avoid unnecessary pregnancy. Oh, Yoruba people has a proverb. Sorry, listeners who are not Yoruba that. You know, the chief priest does not divulge bad news. Bad news. At that point in time, I wouldn't be the one to tell them, I'll go and do their new, because they are all adults. They will know where we seated. But I said, well, from this result, you can see that there's nothing here. The next step is for you to go for IVF. So when they went to the IVF center, I recommended. Those people who are blunt, they told them these children cannot be yours. And they went to do DNA. The two boys were not the children.
Two boys.
When there's a case of rape, part of the thing we do, if they present on time, we try to aspirate something from the reproductive part of the woman to see whether we can see live sperm, take it to the lab as a means to pin down the perpetrator. When we come to elective healthcare, when I say elective, something that is not emergency, we are far better than them. The challenges we have in the country now is emergency services. Not that we don't have the competence, but the setting. Like a lot of public hospitals, water might not be running. I work in several public hospitals. Electricity might not be available. There are colleagues who really want to work, but they are frustrated by the system. Generally speaking, we don't know the cause of fibroid. Every other thing has speculations. A lot of time, people will say the doctor said I have 3 months to live. There is no way in medical school that we have been given a meter to know how long somebody will live. Most of the time it's a lie. People exaggerate. Nigeria is one of the worst maternal mortality rate worldwide.
Yes, I know.
We are only better than some countries and at all, and it is shameful. Maybe we are better than Sierra Leone, Central African Republic, Somalia, and all those countries. We should not be competing with them at all. A lay person, abortion is different from miscarriage. Or medically, they mean the same thing. But you know, abortion is not limited to the single. Even a lot of times, it's the married that are requesting for abortion the most.
Yes.
But I want to pass this message to my Christian community.
Love this. All right.
Now, medicine is not against faith. They work together. Because God has given us the herbs and the leaf for the healing of the nations. And those herbs, science over the year, biochemistry, medical have studied their component to know what they have to work.
Family is everything, and without a proper family, we can't ever have a proper society. Welcome to the Family Podcast. I am Tokumbo Lady, and I'm fondly called Uncle Tokes, and right here we have our family members and also a special guest. But before we get to introduce, our family members and our special guests, we'd like you to know that this is proudly powered by Prowess Pictures Limited, and we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd like you to like, share, comment, and also click on the notification button so that you can get notified whenever we have new content. Before we do the introduction, of our family members and our special guests, we'll be going on a short break. Enjoy. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Happy Family Podcast, and I'm not here alone. We have our family members. Let us start with the person next to me.
I'm here all the time. It's always a privilege to be on every episode and to learn from here. As much as I'm asking questions, I'm also learning, as in a whole lot of things. And I'd like to ask you to stay tuned. Please don't touch the dial. And let's keep this conversation rolling.
I love that,
Cynthia.
I'm excited
about today.
Yes, Cynthia, let's hear from you.
Okay, it's your happy girl, Cynthia. Here today is a privilege. Today's episode is going to be rich. It is particularly for mommies and daddies. We are going to be talking about a lot of things that pertains maternity, a lot of things that pertains women's health. And I stand here to say that I will benefit, and I know you as the audience, you will benefit equally. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Olabisi.
Thank you for joining us again this day. My name remains Olabisi, and I promise you that you're going to enjoy yourself today. You're going to learn, you're going to unlearn from the tap and the source of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, hello everyone. It's nice being here. Emperor here. Today we are going to be discussing something very important. The family is not complete, when everybody is not there. So I say everybody now is going to be clear to you in a few moments from now, and there are problems that we go through in the family. At times we don't know who to speak to. Exactly. We don't know who is the right person, that can give us the advice, the information that can make a whole lot of difference. So today, Price Pictures, through this episode, we want to bridge the gap and create some sensitization. So don't touch the dial.
Thank you very much. I'm taking a cue from, our emperor. We have the right person in the studio here with us. Let's appreciate. And the topic before us is childbearing issues. And to do justice to this amazing topic is the senior consultant, obstetrician and gynecologist, Medicus Specialist Hospital, Loto, Dr. Olaomo Noah Olufemi. It's so good to have you here, sir. I'll further read, this great profile. He's the senior consultant, also obstetrician and gynecologist with Redeemer's Health Center in Redemption Camp. He's also the MD of Medical Specialist Hospital Loto, like we said earlier. He had his undergraduate medical education at the prestigious University of Ibadan, University College Hospital, UCH. He has been a medical doctor for about 19 years. Wow. He became a consultant after undergoing rigorous postgraduate professional training at the University Teaching Hospital, Oshogbo, and University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, Ilorin. He has worked in numerous hospitals, missionary, private, and public. These include Baptist Medical Center, Shaki, University Teaching Hospital, Oshogbo, and University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, among others. He pursues excellence and has won several awards, including the 2 editions of Momifolu Adeboye Medical Practitioner of the Year in 2023 and 2024. He desires to effect positive changes in people's lifestyles to enhance their health. He's especially passionate about helping infertile couples conceive and assisting pregnant mothers and their babies attain good health through sound health interventions. He is married with children. One more time, let's welcome this amazing man. Welcome aboard, sir.
Welcome.
I'd like to say this quickly, sir. My father is a medical doctor and an O&G, obstetrician and gynecologist. So I know a bit of that because I stayed in the hospital with him and all that, and there's a whole lot they get to
deliveries.
Not necessarily, but I've seen a whole lot of procedures. I mean, of course, at least I caught wind of what it entails. And he was privileged, a farmer's boy. He was privileged to study in the University of Page, Hungary, Budapest, and that was where I was born. Funnily, of course, I'm not a citizen of that country and all, but it's so good to see another O&G. Of course, if my dad was here, he would engage you greatly. So what has it been like functioning in this field, O&G?
Well, thank you for having me on this podcast. I'm particularly delighted. We got an opportunity to make impacts. I don't shy away from it.
Awesome.
The Holy Book says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I've seen a lot of our people perishing for lack of knowledge. And some will acquire the knowledge and refuse to apply it for religious reasons and so many other reasons. It has been satisfying, and at the same time it has been depressing practicing in Nigeria in this field. Satisfying that we have seen many women's lives, we have seen many babies' lives, we have been able to intervene and make, maybe through God, God is the giver of life. We are able to save babies, we are able to save their mother. But it has been depressing that some have refused to be saved. That despite all the interventions, even when you provide free services, some have stubbornly refused to be saved. But we are not giving up. Part of still saving the people more is part of the reason why I'm here. And I know that some people genuinely are ready to be helped, but they've not had access to the right source of information. But some have had all the access. Some even money is not their problem. But some other factors which I've discovered that religion is be stronger than education at times.
Wow.
Influencing people's decision. I've seen it a lot of times. So, but we are not giving up. We continue laboring to save mothers, their babies, and by extension, the men of the house.
Yes.
Wow, what an introduction. So, Emperor, you said you have a lot to say. Quite lots of questions to ask.
I'm happy to be here with Doctor. And my first question is this. So when a young couple gets married and the wife is yet to get pregnant, at what point should they speak to a doctor? At what point will they know that probably there is a problem somewhere?
Thank you so much for that question. In our African setting, a couple is not alone. The in-laws are part of the family.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people getting married 2 months after they're already knocking my door. Dr. Olaomo, what is happening? And my tummy is not coming out. And some will say that they think you're already pregnant after having very good satisfaction with the bar of a bar. They think the woman is pregnant.
Yes.
But it's not always so. Ideally, the way God has designed it, if the woman is younger than 35 years of age, and they are living together, husband and wife, until 12 calendar months has passed, that is 1 year, they should not be bothered that there's any problem, provided that is no non-pre-existing problem. Some people before they get married, we already know they have a problem that can interfere with childbearing. I have some patients like that. So I will tell them immediately you get married, you don't need to wait for it, just come and say we need to do something. But if the woman is younger than 35, the husband is also a young man active, we give them 12 calendar months. But there are some conditions attached. They must be having regular sexual intercourse.
Good.
When we talk of regular sexual intercourse, that means at least 3 times a week, like every other day. A man of God recently said something that is having a challenge. Getting married people to be having regular sex and telling single to keep away from sex. It's an oxymoron. Oxymoron. I see people in my clinic, they want to have babies, husband and wife. They are not having sex in a month, they say 2 times. I will say you are not yet serious. That even all the anointing from heaven have been released upon you by our fathers in the law. If you don't have that regular sex, nothing will happen. God will not do that. So before we conclude that there is infertility, 1, this condition must be met. They've been married, staying together for about 12 months, having regular sexual intercourse at least 3 times a week, and they are not using any contraception. Regular, unprotected. Because we have seen instances whereby the woman does not want a child, it's the man that have it, and the woman is using contraception without the knowledge of the man.
Wow, that's serious. Yes. And she will come when
they will come to the clinic and say, and if the doctor, if you don't prove for that, or the woman does not volunteer, or you take time to take some history, you will not know too, and nothing will happen, and the woman knows what he's doing.
But so sorry, sir, that raises a big question in my heart, and that is, why do you think, for an experience you've had, a woman would do such?
There are many reasons. Now let me first start from my own aspect. There are some instances that even the doctor might know that the woman is also using contraception, but the husband is not aware. There are instances that we may support. We have men and we have men. Some men are irresponsible. They are not ready to pay school fees. They don't provide money for food at home. They already have 4 children, and they still telling the woman I want more children. So at times you just tell the woman you don't need to quarrel. Let there be peace at home. Just come. We do, and in Africa, it is a very important thing we do for women. They don't have a lot of.
Doctor, what you are shaking tables. You are shaking tables.
Now there is something we say that it is a tragedy for a woman to die when she has children, because I've learned that it is very rare for you to see another woman who will take care of another woman's children like herself. It's extremely rare.
Exactly.
And when women die, children suffer. Even the best of men, will be around, constantly running, the children will suffer. So we do everything within our power to prevent women from dying. And one way not to die is to avoid unnecessary pregnancy. Unnecessary pregnancy. We see women already have 4 children. The man is jobless, he still wants children. And the woman says, I don't want children. I don't need to correct with this one. Let there be peace. Come. There are family planning that I can do. And there are times the man may drag the woman, let's go to the hospital. What is happening? And we are not like, wait, don't worry. Go and do this test, man. Go and do it. We are not deceiving them. But we need to save the woman's life. And there are other instances I heard the story of a young lady, it's not my patient, that when she was younger, she was very promiscuous, and the father was concerned, took her to the hospital, put a family planning like I said, and she herself did not know. Got married like that, and they were looking for children. Wow. So they are not common, but instances like that. What has taken out to this dimension is that before we talk of infertility, we must have ruled out that none of them is using contraception, and they are having regular, unprotected sexual intercourse for at least a year. But if the woman is 35 years and above, we don't wait for a year. Because we know the fertility of a woman declines as she advances in age. That's the natural biology. By the time a woman is advancing to 40, the egg reserve she has in her ovaries has significantly dropped. So if the woman is marrying at the age of 35 and above, we don't wait for 1 year. After 6 months, there's nothing. They come to the hospital to try and probe whether there's any problem. So this is what couple should be guided about. So if you are young, there's no issue, you get married, don't give yourself unnecessary day after 2 months. Just do regular visiting of Jerusalem, at least 3
times a week.
To buttress what doctor said, I have a similar example. When I got married, we were trusting God for the fruit of the womb, but I was traveling all over the place. I was busy traveling, and yet we were expecting, and just like you said, my father would call and say, is your wife pregnant? Because I was the barrier. I will not allow anybody just walk to my wife. So he would call and ask me, hey, Beleo, is your wife now pregnant? I would say no. What? I said, don't worry, we have prayed this month. Next month, by the time you call, she'll be pregnant. Next month, he will call back, and I will say, is your wife pregnant?
I won't pick the call.
I will pick the call. He say, is your wife pregnant? I say, no, sir. We just came back again for prayers. It went on and on, but that was the problem. I was busy traveling all over the place until I stayed home. We did not get.
You did not. You were not fulfilling the 3 days a week mandate. You are mandated, sir.
Now I know.
So I want to ask. I want our viewers also to learn from this. What does it mean generally? What does childbearing mean medically and emotionally?
Now, childbearing is not the child play because it's demanding, it's tasking. It has biological demands, it has emotional demands, it has psychological demand and financial demand. The mistake that a lot of people make, they only look at the biological demands. Because in the hospital, we see people coming after 9 months, they are begging everybody for ordinary diapers. They don't have money. They have only made the biological demands. They have not made the financial demand.
Sure.
I know on a lighter note, I'm a man, but that's the truth. When our wives are pregnant, we're also pregnant psychologically.
Yes.
So women usually agree. No, yes. They don't agree.
That's the truth.
They don't want to agree to that.
That's true.
But like this picture depicted on social media of a man carrying the baby in the head on top of the brain. Because for a responsible man, when your wife is pregnant, she delivers safely. You are not at peace. If she wake up it's even worse for those of us that are medical doctors. Because when she gives a complaint, your head is already thinking of from the simple to the worst. The woman, if the woman is not a doctor, we wonder what is wrong with this man. Say no, follow me to the hospital. I'm not going. It's because you are thinking those are psychological demands. But the financial demand, which a lot of people downplay, pregnancy can be unpredictable. The pregnant woman may be very stable, and the next 30 minutes everybody is running around. And health care in this country now all over the world is expensive. It's part of the reason why they blackmail health workers, they blackmail hospitals, they blackmail doctors. When they bring in mind, they forget that hospital is both humanitarian and also economical. Now, when they come to the hospital, NEPA attack can come to. What happened to USAID recently? We are all aware. For 6 months, they are in blackout. They do it to private hospital too. But people who come, they are not financially ready for healthcare. They expect the hospital to provide everything. Whereas government will come and bid the hospital to pay tax. The electric power supply will disconnect them for no. And the pharmaceutical company supply does. So if you are not paying, they stop supplying. And that is why people, when they are planning to conceive, they should know there's a financial demand, which they should be saving. You should save to the highest possible. If you have excess, I tell them when you have surplus, you can go and use it to do what you like, than for you to be stranded. And you also need the social support. Men should not think that when their wife is pregnant, their own business to supply money. No. Part of the reason I've decided I've had enough. My last baby showed me pepper. After delivery, and I will be busy in the theater, I come back at home at 9, 10 p.m. My baby, I will not carry the girl and be dancing in front of the mom because she's crying. Weeping, and my wife is tired. I will not carry and be. You know, when I had the older ones, I was very busy in the hospital doing. I didn't even have that time. But this, baby girl and their father.
Yeah.
So I will dance in front of the mirror, tired, to calm her down. I say, it don't do. This psychological and energy demand is even more than the biological demand. So childbearing people should look at the holistic picture. And these are some of the things we give them when they come for preconception care. You know, it is now a setting that we don't plan. The Holy Book also says if you want to go to war, you sit down,
count the costs.
Count the cost. Pregnancy requires counting the cost. And I tell my clients, come if you want to get pregnant. It's a planned venture. Come to the hospital, look at your head. Are you medically fit? Financially, are you fit to have babies? Psychologically, are you
emotionally,
so that it will not be pregnancy has taught some family apart. Because it is even the pregnancy they are praying for that cause tension that they have gone their separate way. So it's demanding and childbearing should be planned. But nobody should be afraid. It's a rewarding venture.
Wow.
Okay.
Man, there's a whole lot from this fountain.
Exactly.
A whole lot.
Exactly.
Sir, I'd like to pick from your opening conversation, saying something about the men. I'd like you to expand on how a man may have issues for conception, what they should look out for, and how they likes around them. Because most times the conversation is always towards women. Exactly. But I know that there's also a part that the men plays, and how that Emperor also pointed out that in his own case. So I'd like us to expand more on that, because the part of the women is quite like what everybody practically knows. But let's talk about this man. How can being a man be a problem in conception and all there is?
And this is an important aspect you have brought. Now, when we are talking about infertility, I always emphasize that it is a couple problem. It is not a woman problem. It is not a man problem. It is a couple problem. And generally speaking, we know that the causes of infertility, broadly we can categorize into 4. The causes arising for men is about a third, like 30%, roughly speaking. The causes of infertility from the woman is about a third, another 30%. The causes involving both of them, another 30%. So about the remaining 10% we don't know. That's why doctors are not good. We say unexplained. Unexplained might be because we have not done enough tests, because we are limited by virtue of the environment, or that for some other reasons. But infertility is a couple problem. And a lot of times I've seen a lot of couples in my clinic that the cause of infertility is the man. Some men don't even have any single sperm at all. I even see a couple, the man was already treated. The wedding was not up to a year. But the man has already threatened the woman. I will go out. The other sister come and meet Dr. Olaomo. So after we have investigated it, the man was the problem. So I told the woman, go home, but don't go and fight. You know, you have won the battle temporarily. But it's not for you to go home and start fighting. But let him know his ego needs to come down. He is the cause of the problem. So even if he has gone out and to try, they will just give him bastards. I see such cases too. There's another couple, for men to know to become sober, because most of the time it's the men that give us problem. They will not come to clinic. They keep saying, I am alright. I will tell them, you are not alright until you are tested. This couple came to the clinic. His previous marriage has had 2 boys. So somehow they went their separate ways. But this new wife has been faithful to the man. So they came to the clinic and said, I have 2 children. I said, no problem. As a doctor, we trust, but we verify. You know? He said, I have 2 children, no problem. I'm not doubting that. Verify. But I have to verify that. Go and do all the tests. The sperm count he did 0 sperm, nothing there. 0. He himself went back again to repeat the test. The same result now came back. But you know, Yoruba people has a proverb. Sorry, listeners who are not Yoruba that. Kigbo Ibileno Abore. You know, the chief priest does not divulge bad news. Bad news. At that point in time, I wouldn't be the one to tell them, I'll go and do their new, because they are all adults. The new wife is seated. But I said, well, from this result, you can see that there's nothing here. The next step is for you to go for IVF. So when they went to the IVF center, I recommended Those people who are blunt, they told him these children cannot be yours. And he went to do DNA. The two boys were not the children.
Two boys.
The two boys, they were not the children. Because the woman later came back to me after doing IVF that succeeded.
Wow.
Nothing.
Okay.
So
yeah, so
men should begin to see that they can also have problems.
Wow.
Okay, so when you were talking, a question came to my mind when you said the man said he has 2 children already, and then he tested negative, right?
And there was no sperm.
No sperm. Then the question came to my mind: is it that can a man have good sperm count at a certain age, and then as he progresses in his age, the thing drops? Is it possible?
It is a possibility, but most of the time, the test for testing the fertility of men is a lot of times straightforward. Just release some sample of semen, analyze it in the lab. Though there are some other ancillary tests we do along hormonal profile and other thing. So they will count in the lab whether the sperm count are sufficient. The way God designed the process of reproduction, it is a wasteful process. For a single sperm to fertilize, there must be millions. Minimum is, in those days we used to say 20 to 200 million per mil of semen. Not, semen and sperm are not the same.
Yeah,
semen is the whole thing.
Okay.
Sperm are invisible, they're microscopic. You have to look at them under microscope. So, but this day we know 15 million and above, they are also okay. So many factors can make the man not to have sperm count, not to have good. Maybe some men are born that way. They have issues with their testes not developing well. Some have some hereditary problem. Maybe they inherited something that affecting the ability of their testes.
Could the infections be responsible for that also?
Too. Now there is this infection they call mumps. Yoruba people call it segede. That usually behind the hair will swell up. It can affect the testes and the ovaries of women. And especially if it's happening in teenage age for boys that are teenagers. In some instances, it can affect the ability of testes to continue to produce. So that's why the sperm bank will be previously normal.
Okay.
And such can affect it. Though it's not common, but it's a possibility. And there are instances some people, I had a couple too that the man was previously okay, but he had a road traffic accident that affected his reproductive system. Like couldn't have adequate sperm count. So it is possible. It is an evolving process. Since we are living organism, the process of wear and tear.
Doctor, all the things you are mentioning are big stuff. Are there little things that can also affect a man?
Like for instance, some common big things that they can have some impact, but not too pronounced. People that smoke, people that drink. Now, people will come up with the idea that there are smokers and alcoholics that have children. Yes. But you see, if you have a major assault and smaller assault will make the person weaker. Put in Yoruba adage. I love Yoruba proverb so much. Now people that have issues,
help us out.
Now if that is down, need to fear. If somebody is already down, it is easier for people that are weaker to deal with it. Like after David there with Goliath, even smaller soldier that wouldn't have been able to stand up to him, be able to deal with him at that point, they was gone. Now there are some people initially they have some degree of minor insult to their sperm producing system, the testes and everything. Now maybe not adequate, low sperm count, they have it, and they are now adding extra insult of cigarette smoking and alcohol intake and some other thing. Their sperm count may be dropping further. But there are alcoholics and smokers who have good sperm count. It's not an absolute thing, but they contribute to it. That's the reason why God designed the testing to be dangling. If you have seen where animals are killed, when they cut open their tummy, it's usually hot. The internal environment of human beings is hot. So when testes are inside the tummy, the temperature is too high for them. So that's why the testes are designed to be well ventilated, dangling. That's the reason. So when they now say men should avoid tight-fitting underwear, nylon underwear, that will generate heat. There's a reason. So let them breathe. Wow. Let them keep going. Let them breathe.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You mentioned something the other time. Yeah. You said somebody that tested his sperm was tested and they had 0 sperm count, and the person can still go for IVF. So can somebody that has 0 sperm count still go for IVF?
Yes.
And again, I want to ask a question about that. So does that mean whenever the person had sex, nothing is going to come out after which?
Now, you remember, let me start from the second question, that semen is not the same as sperm.
Okay.
Sperm is a component of semen. Semen is the whole liquid thing that's come out. It has sperm, it has mucus. If you look at it for those who are married, you will see that it's thick like mucus, and after some time it becomes water. True. So when women complain, is what is irrelevant. What is important is
The content.
the content. They have some other things. So sperm, they are living organisms in their microscope. You can see with your eyes. That's why when they do sperm count, they check them under the microscope. So a man may be releasing even plenty content and there be nothing there.
2 liters.
And there may be
Sir,
no, it can't be
sincerely,
up to
I'm
two.
just joking. Sir, do you know what happened?
That's
Do you know I just bumped into a video, I think it was last year for the first time, where I saw the sperm count in a semen. And I was blown away.
Yes.
See, I just encourage us here to go check it out. If you've not seen it, it made me marvel at God's wonder.
Yes.
All along, you know, that what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
They'll be swimming like
tadpoles. The way tadpoles are, millions, like you can't count.
Yeah,
It's
those are ones that
amazing.
did science. We
Okay,
don't
you
have-
know. Okay, we are the creatives.
There's
All right.
still the second part of the question.
So,
yeah.
like, if a man has nothing, 0 sperm count, now there are 2 possible causes for that. I don't want to be using big medical terminology, but we all understand what we call obstruction. Now, just like women have 2 pipes, we call fallopian tubes. Men also have 2 pipes, we call spermatic duct. If you remember in sciences and biology in those days, duct, tube, they are synonymous. They're like tiny pipes. The ducts of men too can be blocked. Only that is commoner with women. You know, the commonest cause of fallopian tube blockage are sexually transmitted disease, post-abortion issues, complications. Men too are promiscuous. Can also have their spermatic duct blocked from sexually transmitted diseases, but it's commoner and easier with women. Now, if some men, the issue is that those ducts are blocked, and semen is not only produced by the testes, there are other organs. If you remember biology, seminal vesicle, prostate, they also add to the content of semen, and they are located above and around spermatic duct. So if the spermatic ducts are blocked, whether from accident, like the man example I cited, or from sexually transmitted disease, when sperm count is done, there will be no sperm, but there are plenty of sperm that will be around the testes down there. It's just like the way engineers dam. You know, when they dam the river down there, when we are going towards down the river, there will be no water, but beyond the dam, plenty and millions of liters of sperm. So such men can go via IVF. There are ways they will tap for the sperm at the level of the testes.
Yeah.
They will do the IVF. That's one. The second scenario is that the man does not have anything at all, whether at the testes or anywhere. So in such instance, another man will have to donate for him, or we call donor sperm. The sperm is not his, but the baby is his.
Sorry, sir.
You are
Further. Explain that further.
Now, okay, we are already going to the aspect of what we call assisted reproductive technique. As you know, the word assisted. People that have challenges or difficulty to procreate, to have babies. There are different ways of helping them. Initially, the reason why IVF started was for women who have problems with their fallopian tubes, maybe completely damaged or blocked or absent. So, the principles of IVF essentially that sperm is taken from the man, egg is taken from the woman, they are fertilized in the lab. Once the baby, you know that fertilization normally occurs in the fallopian tube, if you remember our biology.
Exactly.
So we are not doing that externally in the lab. So once the baby is already waiting, we now transfer it back to the womb of the woman to start growing. That is basic principle of IVF. Of assisted reproductive technology. There are techniques, other methods. But there are instances whereby some women cannot produce egg again for so many reasons, whether they are at menopause or their eggs are already retired, they can't produce egg, or they have lost the ovaries completely through surgeries or some other thing. And there are some men too that they can't produce sperm at all, or they have lost their testes, maybe from testicular cancer, from accident and all that thing. They can still have their babies. But in this instance, they will need another man or woman to donate the egg to them. The donors will be anonymous.
Okay.
It's not that unless they decide I want to be a family, which we will discourage. Young ladies donating the egg or young men will not be known to the family. So, and the woman still has a very good womb, we still carry the baby from beginning to the end. So the baby is still there, but genetically it's not that genetic.
Exactly, that's the question I've been in my
So
mind.
if the sperm is donated and the woman's egg is used, genetically the woman's gene will be there, but the man's will be absent. But if both of them use donor egg and donor sperm, genetically it's not. But the baby is there because the baby has no other parent.
Yes.
And we know that, and it's legally binding because when people donate, there are legal framework. Then they wake up and I want to go and collect my baby.
But even the anonymous people don't even know where it's going
unless
to.
there's a mess up from the
records.
True. Unless there's a leakage of information which should not be. They won't know, they won't be able to trace it.
One day you can be walking on the street
and
say that looks like
if the brother has not been donating anything, you have nothing to fear.
I saw a movie late last year, and a case where they stole the sperm of a man for a woman and she injected the sperm into herself. And I was really wondering that, is that real? That can that work? They said it's artificial insemination. So I want to know if it's real, and then what's the difference between artificial insemination and, okay, you have explained the IVF now, so I know IVF.
No, artificial insemination is also a part of the process of IVF assisted reproductive technique. Now it can work. There's a story that affected a big billionaire in the US now. The man went to an hotel, maybe to have fun with another woman, and the cleaner of that place took up the condom that the man dumped. It's a true story.
Wow.
And impregnated herself with it, and she became pregnant. What? You know, and she's suing for child support.
That brings me to this question.
So, sorry, the artificial insemination part is like, if, for instance, what I was trying to explain, if the man cannot really produce good sperm, there are ways of getting sperm and injecting it directly into the head. On the laboratory, there are advances with microscope and some other that can be done. So it become a baby, it's still normal baby like us. There are babies walking around like that, you won't know if they don't tell you. They are intelligent, they are brilliant, we are all
a baby.
So this question is, you talk about a woman, you spoke about a woman that picked somebody else's sperm and injected herself. So how many minutes would that sperm stay before it dies off?
Now, you see, in counseling women about fertility problem, a sperm can still be in the body of a woman for 3 to 5 days. Like I used to, on a lighter note, I would tell people that at times sperms, they are not devils, they roam about seeking him to devour. So at times seeking the eggs to devour. So sperm can stay in the body of a woman for 3 to 5 days, still roaming around looking for eggs.
I mean, the person must have poured the sperm probably in a CD, a condom or something, and
that's what
kept
happened.
It somewhere.
No, the man discarded the condom away, and the
so how many minutes or how many hours does a sperm stays in that condom before it dies?
Now,
a woman's body.
Yes.
Now, the point in this instance now, the actual time between, the man was not suspecting anybody would do that to him.
Indeed.
He could just have done what he wanted to do and discarded it, and somebody who had an intention went after the.
Exactly.
So the time interval might not have lapsed long enough. And sperm can stay even in the external body, may not be able to stay up to 3 to 5 days, but can still stay for hours.
Okay.
That is why when there's a case of rape, part of the thing we do, if they present on time, we try to aspirate something from the reproductive part of the woman to see whether we can see live sperm, take it to the lab as a means to pin down the perpetrator.
The perpetrator.
In development. That's why we later when they come to the hospital on time.
And the woman taking care of the baby.
Yeah, to prevent pregnancy.
Yeah.
And even to do through the sperm, those who have good DNA pool, they can trace the man because the sperm is also part of the genetic.
Yes, okay.
Exactly.
So still on childbearing issues. So now looking at IVF, of course, I've not done research on that, but at least I have a little idea to know that it's not cheap, or it doesn't come cheap. And based on what you just shared with us, when Emperor asked, he said, "Do you have that functioning in your specialist hospital and also the health center?" And he said, "No, you have to go to Lagos and all." How easily accessible is it? Number one, and two, how financially affordable is it? How easily accessible is it, and how financially affordable is it?
Generally speaking, pregnancy affairs cost money.
Pregnancy,
reproduction, fertility use
cost
is
money.
expensive.
Okay.
Generally, whether through assisted reproductive technique, IVF, or natural conception. Because pregnancy these days, if you ask for average standard hospital you want to do antenatal care, they will ask you to pay. It's not that cheap. Now, IVF services are readily available in Nigeria. Available in terms of physical facilities. Okay. But in terms of financial availability, a lot of people can still afford it. Because the cheapest place around here where it can be done, averagely 3 million. That's among the cheapest. There are a lot of other centers are far more expensive than that.
Far more expensive.
Yeah. You already talking. Okay.
So, but in terms of, it's not too difficult to establish. Like my hospital, and it doesn't take eternity. The basic criteria being gynecologist, you already know most of them. You just need to provide some gadgets, do some further training, and then you are good to go. So, but it's available. Lagos has so many centers. Ibadan, they are everywhere.
Okay.
The barrier to access is finance.
Fine. Okay.
That's in terms of getting the service, they are readily available in Nigeria, and people come from abroad to do it because it's cheaper in Nigeria.
Here.
Wow.
Cheaper here.
But we heard people were going abroad to do it because of the short.
Was cheap then.
Okay.
Because of
like the shorty of getting results.
That's a big lie. You see, a prophet has no honor in his. Now, for instance, now they're coming. Now it is when this Japan phenomenon has made people value what we offer. I just operated someone that came from UK, my first. I just left come to do fibroid surgery. And many more last year they came from Canada and everything. Because over there to get specialists is not easy. You'll be on the queue for months.
Long time.
It is expensive, and even ordinary care in the NHS, it's not easy to get a doctor. Now I still have a lot of my patients that when they have issues, they be calling. At time I want to help them, but my place by distance. You need to take this. How will I get that across to them? So in terms of effectiveness, when it comes to elective healthcare, when I say elective, something that is not emergency, we are far better than them. The challenges we have in the country now is emergency services. Not that we don't have the competence, but the setting. Like a lot of public hospitals, water might not be running. I work in several public hospitals. Electricity might not be available. There are colleagues who really want to work, but they are frustrated by the system. So in terms of competence, we have the competence. Is the environment. People come from there, from US to UK to come and do it, and they get results. The result is generally the same worldwide, and it's cheaper. Wow. Then some other countries also have a kind of, they have placed a barrier on the age. In a lot of countries, when the woman is more than 55 years, they will not allow you to do IVF. But Nigeria, we have not really.
No restrictions yet.
And there's a reason for the sake of health consideration for the older the woman. But for now in our country, we have not placed that embargo. So Nigeria is a beautiful country.
Oh wow, I love that.
God will fix our land.
Yes.
Amen.
I have a question. There is something that we hear about fibroid. I'm a man, but then we have sisters, wives, and all of that. So we hear that at times, if a woman does not get pregnant on time, not like even if she's not married, that this allows fibroids to grow and things like that. Can you help us clarify on that?
Generally speaking, we don't know the cause of fibroid. Every other thing has speculations. There are speculations of what we call risk factors. When you call risk factor, for instance, overspeeding is a risk factor for accident, but it doesn't always mean when you overspeed you have accident. Do you understand what I say?
Yes.
Now, but the direct cause of fibroid is not known. We don't know, but we know it's commoner among black women. Black women have it more than that, and we should not think that maybe we are not fortunate. No, the other tribes, the other Caucasian, they have their own peculiar diseases that are more with them too. But any woman all over the world can have fibroid. It's commoner with black. The older the woman is, it may happen. The youngest patient I've had that have fibroid she was about 15 years old. Oh, wow. In SS2, SS3, planning to write her wife.
Oh, wow.
Yes, fibroid confirmed. So when we know if there's a delay in getting married, delay in having children, if you are advancing in age, you can have fibroid, but it's not absolute. There are women who have 4 children early, they have fibroid. There are women who have never had children, they're about 40, 45 years old, they don't have fibroid. Those are just risk factors. It's not like mosquito bite that leads to malaria. The cause of fibroid is not known. There are a lot of things you see on social media. If you take meat, if you take folic acid, they say it can make fibroid grow. Well, it's not cause and effect. That just may be possible because I see people starving themselves of the beauty of life to enjoy the basic thing they can enjoy. So fibroid is not something, though it causes a lot of pain and distress to women. But on a lighter note, that I used to pull the leg of women that it was because they were the one that had fruit.
That brings to the fore what my dad told me. He said in the medical, practice that you have a phrase called saber rattling, which means people saying things to instigate fear so that you can respond to their demands, and that in the medical practice, they do that?
Not necessarily. Maybe let me say I don't do that.
No.
And you know
All
what
right,
is
sir.
also that our people, you see, people react based on their prejudices. And I've learned as a doctor, that is why when I explain something, I ask for immediate feedback. People are hearing what you are saying based on their prejudice.
Okay.
Like, for instance, a lot of time, people will say, the doctor said I have 3 months to live. There is no way in medical school that we have been given a meter to know how long somebody will live. Most of the time it's a lie. People exaggerate. We have seen very bad patients that we know will die soon. Some 2 months they are still alive. Some we think are stable in the next 1 hour they are gone. Now we know bad cases. We know cases that this person is not likely to. But somebody saying that I have 1 week to live, I will die. It's a lie. I've been practicing for about 19 years. There is no. I had my colleague. Maybe I was missing in class the day they taught you the meter to know you have 3 weeks. You know, there's nothing like.
The reason I asked that question is.
You know where I'm driving is like a lot of time. People, when we are trying to explain to even give information, people have already been frightened. So they are responding with their preconceived fear. For instance, now, a lot of people are running away from doing fibroid surgery because they've been told once you do fibroid surgery, you will not conceive. It is a lie.
Yes.
A very big lie.
Yeah, that
We told
rumor.
again that all women has fibroid.
That is also a lie.
Okay,
All women don't have
Yeah, I've
fibroid.
heard that part. That
I heard
the
that
moment
that
you
all
have
women have
fibroid,
that it's not
surgery.
something that just instigates it coming up or growing in you. That all women has fibroid naturally.
That is also a lie.
Oh,
There is no absolute. All women don't have fibroid, but it is true that a lot of women have fibroid, and some don't even know until they die. Some we just know by incidental finding. They come to the hospital for other things. We are scanning them, then accidentally just say there is fibroid there. And some it is when they are doing autopsy for other things. You know, when a woman dies, maybe sudden death, we don't know the reason. Say postmortem must be done. Just discover that the womb has fibroid, and that's never disturbed that. There are a lot of women who don't have fibroid.
Okay, so
Also, would you advise that it's good for me to go and have a fibroid test when I don't even think it's necessary?
Now, if you are a woman, you are not having symptoms. Most women that discover they have fibroid, either they have gone to the hospital for that, they have to do an ultrasound scan, or they have symptoms. Most of the commonest symptom of fibroid is your menstrual pattern become irregular. Either it is heavy, it is prolonged than usual. The other common symptom is menstrual pain. And other people, it will be abdominal swelling. They just discover something. Some people that are already greeting them with that, yeah, BG, when are
you
you
are
going to
pregnant. Yes, that's
but
one of
it's
the
because a lot of time
signs.
our people delay too much. Some people, the fibroid will be touching their chest, touching their liver before they come to the hospital. And some, it is big. The only symptom is giving them because of the size. You know, there is a way God designed our body, relative size. There is the normal size of the womb, normal size of the kidney, normal size of the intestine. So when one organ is becoming bigger than it should, to be disturbing the other organ. Just like the way I'm sitting now it becomes so big and I'm pushing everybody, you know, everybody become uncomfortable.
Okay.
Not all women have fibroid.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So I have a question for you. Okay, so I want to digress from the fibroid thing. Okay, there are stories we used to hear. You know, there are stages in pregnancy, the prenatal and post-natal. So normally the medical attention is shifted to the prenatal stages, and then after the woman gives birth, that's the post-natal, right?
Yes.
Okay. So are there challenges with some women after pregnancy, like facing depression or facing some psychological problems?
Yeah, okay.
And if it's real, does it affect women in Africa? Do you have cases like that?
Yes, there is no disease that affects the whole of humanity that cannot affect an Africa. We just know that some diseases are commoner among some tribes, with some exception. For instance, don't let me say there is no disease, because it is very rare to see Caucasians that are sicklers. But as they are intermarrying and marrying blacks, they can come down with it. Because, for instance, sickler is a means of how our system has adapted to cope with malaria. But something went wrong in the process. Let's not digress to that now. Now, when it comes to the issue of postnatal, what I just mentioned is what we call psychiatric disorders in pregnancy.
Okay.
Postnatal blue, postnatal depression, postnatal psychosis. Those are the 3 spectrum, and I will expatiate on that. Blue, when they say somebody is blue, that's the mildest form. Any pregnant woman can come down with depression during pregnancy and after. You know, when it is after that, what we call postnatal or puerperal.
Okay.
Postnatal, postpartum. Puerperal,
Yes.
puerperal is after the woman has delivered. The 6 weeks after delivery is what we call puerperal. The postnatal period, the postpartum period, they all mean the same thing. But when it comes to mental disorders after delivery, you know, 6 weeks is the time we expect the body of the woman to return to pre-pregnancy state. But when it comes to psychiatric disorder, it is 1 year we use. 1 year after delivery. The psychiatrists, those are my colleagues who specialize in the mental health issues, mental disorders. When any woman till a year after delivery can still have mental health issue related to the pregnancy. Now the spectrum blue is just that the woman just feel. And what are the signs of depression? The woman have lost interest in things that give her a job before. Some people will be having whoopee episode, crying for no reason. Some will become depressed. They begin to hate themselves or even hate their baby. To the extent that some will kill their baby or kill themselves.
Wow. Yes, there are stories like that.
It happens. But usually there are risk factors. I mean, something that might predispose the woman to it. If a woman has had psychiatric disorder before pregnancy, some women already have psychiatric problem even before they become pregnant. Such women must be on the lookout for them. They are at risk for having it. If a woman have a dysfunctional family, she and her husband are not in good terms. She's the one hustling all herself, no financial support, no psychological support, no money, no everything. Such a woman can have puerperal depression or psychosis. One case that we had, a young girl had twins, got pregnant out of wedlock, no support. I was in Ilorin then, left Ilorin for Lagos, she came to deliver. She frankly has psychosis. The difference is the blue is just the woman, and this is commoner. Postpartum blue, the woman just feel unhappy, lasts for some days, within 1 to 2 weeks, and she get over it. It happens a lot when they are overwhelmed with demand of newborn. I know newborns, they are essentially very selfish. There's nothing wrong with them.
And demanding.
And demand, that's how God has made them. Their needs must be met. As at now, nothing like mom is tired, I want to sleep 2 a.m., they will cry and wake up everybody. So the demand for those who don't have support may be so overwhelming, but postpartum blues, they get over it within a few days. In depression, the woman begin to affect her functioning. She cannot take care of herself and the baby. They have whooping episodes. Some begin to hate the baby or hate themselves. Some begin to feel inadequate to take care of themselves and the baby. And if nothing is done, some commit suicide. The idea of suicide and the idea of even killing the baby begin to come. That depression. Psychosis is what we call, people call madness. Yes. They begin to hear voices that is not there. They begin to see vision that they have not seen. As long as they can become violent. Yes. But if they have good health care before it graduates to all these steps should have been taken, it can affect any woman. Those are some of the risk factors I've mentioned. No support, they have family history of mental health disorders, or some women have had in their previous deliveries. So when they have good antenatal care, I've had patients like that, I know they've had it before, so I was on my toe to prevent them from happening. You take steps, you give them drug, and it ended.
What now happened to women who give birth at home? They didn't even go to the hospital.
There are women who actually have those frank psychosis, and some they bring them to the hospital. Some, if they are in settings where they don't have understanding, they will think they are possessed. You know, some of this demonic possession, I know anybody, just medical health issue that need to be taken care of.